What up, people? So in this video I'm gonna share with you exactly how I book inbound calls with a micro YouTube channel, right? I currently have like 61 subscribers and I book multiple inbound calls from that. The proof is inside of the video. Anyways, this video is compilation of a few of my videos, and I'm insanely certain that if you just go through it, you actually take notes and you implement what's said in the video, you will get results from it, right? And like this video reveals the exact strategy that helped me being able to not rely on outreaches so that I can get clients from inbound, and like you obviously have the authority and all of that stuff. Just one last thing before we dive into the video. The only difference between a course and a YouTube video is your mind. If you actually think that you paid for it and you actually go through it, you take notes from it, you go through it multiple times, you're gonna make money from it, you're gonna get clients from it regardless. So yeah, without any further ado, let's just dive with it. And if you just take the action, you will get results from it. Hey everyone, it's Manav, and in today's video I'll be talking about the real reason behind why your viewers actually don't book calls with you. And it's for info product sellers, right? High ticket coaches or course creators, whatever, right? Now, why can't I even speak on this? Well, look for yourself, I mean, right? Booked calls, booked calls, like inbound DMs, booked calls, and all of these testimonials. I actually booked like 8 inbound coaching calls with only like 26 subscribers, right? But anyways, in this video, I'm gonna show you exactly how you can do the same for yourself, or maybe even better depending on the channel size of yours, right? So that, every video you put out, you will actually know how many dollars you're gonna make from that video. And when you open your calendar, it's filled with qualified leads and whatever. But without further ado, let's just begin with it. Now, this is what my videos used to look like just a few months ago, right? As you can see, like 4 months ago. Now, don't get me wrong, in terms of value, these videos were really great, right? But since I have seen people putting out their first video and not just booking calls but getting PIF, right? And I was like, I want to do the same for myself, but I wasn't able to, right? For the first few videos at least. And because of that, I was kind of frustrated, right? I was doing everything, I was providing value, I was recording the videos, but nothing was working, right? And for the few weeks, I started tweaking different things, right? I started changing my offers. I changed my YouTube description, video quality, tags, thumbnails, whatever you can think of. I did it all, right? And I also spent like almost $1,000 in coaching calls and stuff like that. And since YouTube works based on uniqueness, none of them were really able to give a clear answer. But today in this video, I'm gonna give you the clear answer, because how it works, why it works, and how you can do the same for yourself, right? But all that didn't much help, as I told you. And I was really annoyed with it, but around that week, what happened was I kind of had a few anxiety attacks, right? I'm not gonna go into details of that, but long story short, I was looking for solutions about why it happened with me, why this anxiety thing was happening with me. And I realized something really important about my business persona also, right? I realized that business is just people say that it's just your personal problems reflecting in your business. And I just thought of that, and I realized that I was bringing people down to how much they could pay me, right? I wouldn't see viewers as viewers. I would just see do they have the financial capability of paying me? If yes, then I'm gonna work with them or talk with them in the DMs. If not, I'm not gonna do that. And I just that clicked me. I just have to look them as humans rather than try and seeing these price tags. And from then on, I spend a heck lot of time on searching about this psychology thing, human behavior thing, and all of these things. And I was kind of always into it, but that thing just intensified around that period. And that is when I realized there is a lot more to it than these gurus actually preach about, because they only talk about what worked for them, not what will work for everyone. And which is why I'm creating this video, because I'm gonna show you exactly how it works. Because if you understand humans, you cannot really go wrong, right? I mean, it all begins with there, right? I mean, if you understand humans, you create videos that hit really well, and if those videos connect them with really well, they trust you, they like you, why are not they gonna book calls with you, right? So the key, rather than understanding tactics or stuff like that, is just basically understanding humans, right? Maybe just like that, right? My channel is still small, but we'll see where it goes, right? And based on these understanding, I created a system, right? And a really big misconception that people have, you have to spend years on psychology and stuff. Not really. I got my clients results from it in just a few weeks of working together. I'm gonna show you proof below, right? And just a few weeks after I created this system, this happened, right? Yeah, like this is crazy, but like I booked my first ever inbound call with only 6 subscribers, even though it was a no show, right? I will be honest, but still, like it just gave me like a huge momentum for me to book calls later, right? And now I book like real qualified calls, right? Now, what is this system, So I created this system for myself, right? It's called Human Bias Content Ecosystem. And like I know that it sounds like some kind of rocket science or whatever. I promise it's not, right? And I'm gonna show you exactly how simple it is. But before that, let me just tell you like why will it specifically work for you, because it's really important, right? Because people just preach things that worked for them, right? Not what will work for you. So I'm gonna show you exactly why will it work for you. The thing is like 99% of you watching this video, here's how your video creation process might look like. So the number one thing is ideation. You probably think like, okay, I'm gonna think of someone who's in my niche, and like I'm gonna go through their videos, whichever one got more views, I'm gonna model it. Or very rarely, you create a video in which the idea is of yours own, right? But they really work because like new ideas, like they're not proven, which is why like they work rarely, right? Then for providing value part, you just teach them things that work for you, right? Not like that work for you and for your clients, but like again, like I'm gonna tell you like exactly what is happening. For packaging is usually outsourced, and then you post the video, correct? And you want to know what 99,000 other people in your niche do? Exactly the same thing, right? So to put things into perspective, imagine yourself as a person in your own niche where everyone is just saying the same thing, just speaking the same thing. The video, like they just look same. They have like a Miro board or a Google Doc, just like I have, and you're just creating videos. How do you come across? Like how would you really stand out from everyone else? Because if you don't, why would anyone book calls with you, right? um, the truth is you really need an edge, right? That is what everyone is missing, and that is what this system solves for you, which is why this system will work specifically for you, right? And this system, like exactly does that for you. The system makes sure that you make a real genuine connection with your audience that nobody can fake or copy. That is your real advantage, right? Where like like if I told you some like tactical stuff, people can copy it, and like when everyone uses it, it just goes out of market. But now that you make real connection with your audience, no one can take that from you, neither can people copy it, right? See how crazy is that? And now coming to the juicy part, which is like how does the system actually work and how you can book insane amounts of calls from it, right? But as the name says, it works on human psychology and its behavior, right? Talking about it, I'm gonna paste some video in the I section, probably here or there, where like you can see, like you will basically just get a decent understanding on how humans work. But watch that after this video so that like what you're actually doing, right? But anyways, let me tell you like how the system actually works, and more importantly, like how you can book calls from it. The thing is like humans have some biases, right? They have some behavior patterns or heuristics through which they take action. Like I'm gonna tell you something really important. Since people are not aware of these behavior patterns or whatever, they think that they thought of the video idea from scratch. They think that they are creating YouTube videos. They think that they want money for some XYZ reasons. It's not really that. There is a part of themselves in shadows, in dark, in their subconscious mind, which controls them from this dark. And what we do in this system is like we directly talk to that person in the dark, which basically controls the action of this body, right? And like I'm gonna tell you exactly how to do it. Really important thing: if your product slash service does not help them improve their life, it does not help them make more money, do not use this, because it will not be ethical, and it will bite you back 10 times harder, right? So in this system, we basically very cleverly we deploy these human biases along, like throughout the YouTube video, right? How? Well, I'm gonna share with you a secret bias of mine that I use in almost every single one of my videos, right? And I recently came across it, and it's like really crazy bias, and it works like a charm, right? The thing is like 50% of coaches in this like coaching space, they think that people don't book calls with them So like because of their value, people think that they don't really provide as much value as for them to book calls, so they work on providing more value, and they create 1 hour courses or 2 hour courses, but the outcome remains the same. Because the thing is like, I'm going to tell you exactly how it happens, right? Now, 40% of coaches understand this a bit deeper truth, which is like, audience does not want really more value or insanely long videos. They want connection, they want truth, and they want authenticity, right? But merely like 10% of coaches, or maybe even less, understand this real truth, which is like, you gotta do a few things for them to take action. And I'm gonna tell you what are these things. So first thing, you have to show them that you understand their pain, and most importantly, you can name the exact problem that they are going through, right? So for example, I'm gonna tell you what, in this video, like I talked about, I was doing the hardest part. I was providing value, recording videos, but I still wasn't booking call. I started tweaking different things, my offer, all of these things. In reality, I mean, like, I did these things, but not at the intensity that I spoke, like, not with the conviction that I'm talking about them. The reason I talked about them is because, like, in my offer deck, I have written your latent conditions, or these are your thoughts, right? Which is why, like, I use these words in my video, right? So that it will connect with you. The thing is, like, the honest thing is, like, you don't really want value, right? If you wanted, like, the understanding of human psychology, you would just get bored, you wouldn't watch video, and my channel would tank, right? Which is why, like, you want your pain to be agitated, right? And I'm gonna tell you like what it is, but let me just carry on with it, right? So the thing is like, I named your exact problem that you were facing. You tweak different things, right? You change your offer, you change your YouTube description, but nothing works, right? You maybe hired someone in the past, some funnel guy in the past, but that did not really help, right? And if you come across with one more of them, you just block their accounts, right? So I know these things because I understand you. I don't see a price tag on your face, but like, it's just that I understand you, or like, at least I like to think so, right? Second thing that your audience want is they want you to like as a person, right? No one in the world books call because like, someone is really intelligent or really smart. They care a lot more about like, is he a fun person to work with? That is the only thing that matters, right? And it was a really, like, big moment for me, because I thought that, like, value was everything, but not really. Like, personality plays a really big role if someone is gonna book call with you or not, right? Third thing is like, like, your audience don't want valuable videos. This is the thing that I was talking about above. They want your videos to just look valuable. This is the key, right? Now my video right now here, it looks valuable, and to some degree it is, right? But it's not everything that I talk about. I could have been talking about a lot more biases. I could have been talking about psychology in a lot more detail, but I don't, because you don't want that thing, right? And that is why if you check the analytics of these 1 hour long courses, the retention on those courses is hell, right? I have a 40-minute course that I'm gonna put in the description, because like, it's really good course, right? You should look at it. It helps you understand humans and how you can use that understanding to book more calls, right? And on that video, it has like 15% retention, which is kind of good, right? But on these videos, which is like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, I usually have a retention of 30% or 25%, which is why like YouTube pushed my videos. And the recent one did not work because like the thumbnail in that was shit, but whatever. And these were the three things that they want. And there is a bonus thing that they want you to do, right? Which is like, they want you to go to the second link in the description and book a quick call with you. Yeah, if you want to, you can, right? So that, like, you will have this completely done for you. But you want to know the crazy part? You saw the results I got from it above. Here's what my client, like, got, right? So he booked his first ever, like, bro booked his like first ever call in just a few weeks of working together. And the part that even I was shocked about was like, the lead that he got was like insanely hot, right? And it was like sold even before the call began. But look, like, this is one of my many buyers that I put my clients onto, that I help them with, right? So if you want this system done for you, you can, like, book a quick call from second link in the description. But anyways, if you want to have the free way, The first link in the description, it's about a free course. You can go and watch it. I talk a lot deeper about how humans work and all of these things, and how you can use that understanding to book more calls, right? Hey everyone, it's Manav, and in today's video we'll be talking about how to scale your info product business so fast it feels illegal. Why can I talk about this? Booked calls, booked calls, booked calls, booked calls with just 20 subscribers. Inbound DMs, inbound DMs, inbound DMs with just 20 subscribers, right? And the thing is, like, no one was talking about it, which is why I wanted to, because everyone is doing the same thing in this coaching space, right? Which is why, like, look at this. Understanding humans and types of realities. How to use this research on humans to do killer market research. How to create killer offer deck. How to get eyeballs. Understanding the core game of YouTube. And seeing, like, the first principles of YouTube inbound client acquisition, right? And it took me, bro, I don't know how many hours it took me to create this video. But anyways, a quick warning, not a cliche, this thing actually carries the capacity to manipulate anyone, so be ethical with it, right? Overview of the video is this for high ticket coaches, infopreneurs, all of these guys, right? Why will this work for you? Well, because it worked for me, as I showed you above. And it's based on never changing human psychology and behavior, which is the bedrock of all the client acquisition, right? But moreover, I think value is the best proof. So go through the video with me and decide for yourself, So, and if you do not like it, you can obviously dislike, but whatever. Note, this is gonna be boring again, like just like any other thing worth doing. But understand that you have to go through this video. There is no other choice, because, like, if you do not, then you stay at the same place, and maybe it will take a frick ton of time for you to book calls. If not, you probably might not book calls, right? So I guarantee, you will have such a powerful advantage once you go through this video completely, right? So without any other further ado, let's just begin with it. So putting client acquisition into a picture, we will understand how humans work, how their brain works, how they are born and brought up as a kid, because no one paid attention to that kid, which is why, like, we have to. And once you pay attention to that kid, like, booking calls will just be like, effortless, because, like, even if you go to a therapy session, they always go to your childhood, right? That is what happens, and that is what we will do here. Once you understand that, I'm going to explain you the game of YouTube and Instagram, and how to book calls from it, also the environment of YouTube, as I told you, and how to use metrics to improve your system, right? So without any further ado, again, let's just begin with it, right? Understanding humans and types of realities that exist in this world. Understand that this is you in a therapy session with them, and you are going into their childhood to understand them as a kid, right? And once you understand them, you want to leverage it to book more calls, obviously ethically, as I told you, right? Understanding reality. Well, it exists in two forms. So first form is nothingness. So this is the first type of reality, and this is important to understand before you gain advantage over your competitors, right? Anyways, the first type of reality, which is nothingness, like trees, animals, houses, stars, right? So what I mean by this, all the things that you see, they are given meanings by human, or to be specific, the lens of the human through which they see the world, right? Everyone has a lens which is invisible, right? So for example, tree, big or small, human categorize it. Animals, grass eating or meat eating, humans categorize it. If there are no humans, there will be no judgment, and if there is no judgment, then things just exist and it still makes sense. And this type of reality, the nothingness, it is called the objective reality, right? What do I mean by it? Well, before, it was just house, right? If there were no humans, it was just a box that you live in. But humans categorize it now, which is like apartments, high-rise, penthouse, right? So example again, water, salty or not, humans categorize it. Countries, India or Russia, is just land, right? But humans categorize it. So this is called objective reality, right? Just keep this in your mind, and once I tell you how to use it, this will be really helpful piece of the puzzle, right? Moving on to second type of reality, which is humans paradigm. So understand that each human have an invisible lens, as I told you above, which we will call paradigm, right? This lens can never be 100% same for two people, because no two people would have 100% same experiences no matter what, right? Now before we discuss the second type of reality, let me just first discuss on how this lens is made and how most likely your lens was made. So not just you will understand your audience, but yourself. Again, this is the therapy session that you are doing with your audience, right? So let's say that this is Joe, this boy. So Joe is 6 months old and really knows nothing about world, which means that he have no paradigm or lens to view the world. So he just thinks of house as just box to live in, right? And let's fast forward a few months later. When Joe turns 1 year old, his parents decide to celebrate his first birthday to a different country. Let's just say Japan, for no particular reasons, obviously, right? So just for context, when someone does not have a lens to view the world, which means that they are still absorbing things, so look at Joe like a sponge who just absorbs things subconsciously, like emotions, like motives, like desires and belief, right? So this is Joe, right? Now let's say Joe on this trip experiences a few things. So he experienced that people bow down to greet each other or give respect, right? Second thing, he understands that everyone like this noodle thing called ramen, right? Then he understands that people stop their car when the light turns red and starts moving again when it turns green, right? Now Joe, as a kid, is now starting to create his own lens or paradigm because he's seeing different things, he's absorbing them, and he's starting to create his lens, right? So before Joe had a lens, it was just food, right? Which was the first type of reality, and there was not much to it. But now, from his experiences, he concluded that ramen is the best food. But the caveat is, since Joe is new to this thing, he does not have much proof to call it the final truth. So as he grows up, different experiences that Joe will have will refine his lens or maybe even change his belief, of like ramen is best food, because like maybe let's just say that he eats burger. So maybe he thinks that they are better, right? So this is how basically paradigms are formed. Obviously there is a lot more to it, but I think this is enough for you, right? Now since you understand that how the first type of reality, it was just food, but Joe categorized it and got a belief that ramen is best. So the second type of reality is called the subjective reality. This reality is based on people's personal perception, belief, experiences, assumptions, and a lot more things, right? Again, I don't know, bro, how many times I'm just gonna say it, but just bear with me for a second and it's all gonna make sense, right? Now we have to understand humans. As I told you, we're gonna be seeing how people evolve from a kid to a grown-up person to which you have to sell. Why is this important? Because no one really gave importance to that kid, and as sad as it sounds, you have to understand them. And from a business perspective, you will gain immense advantage over your competitors, but also you will help your client get better results, right? So you have to understand your customers very well, because these are the guys that you have to serve at the end of the day. So let's bring back Joe. So between the ages of 0 and 18, just as we saw above, Joe will have like multiple different experiences which will build his foundation for his later personal belief, desires, goals, perception, and all of these things. Well, why between the ages of 0 and 18? As I said above, in reality he will keep refining his lens till the absolute end of his life. But just because a lot of people around the ages of 18 and 25 think they have seen the world, which is why, because of their ego, they stop evolving, they stop improving, and as a result of ego, they just stay at the same place all their life, right? Going back to the quick summary thing, well, Joe was born as a sponge, metaphorically, as I told you above, and was a sponge till the ages of 0 to 7 or 0 to 10. Why? Because these are the ages where kids just absorb things rather than doing something with that information, right? Then with what information and inputs he gathered between the ages of 0 to 7 from his experiences, he will start using that input to give a shape of his personal lens, right? What do I mean by this? Look at it like this, right? Let's say that the experiences of Joe, his environment, his friend circle are like a different paint colors, and once he turned let's just say 14 or 15, so between the ages of 10 to 14 or 10 to 15, based on these paint colors, which are his different experiences or friend circle or whatever, he will create the best painting that he likes, right? Not what I like, but what he likes. And this process will happen multiple times in their life. So fast forward a few years later, this is Joe at 20, right? And this is the subjective reality, based on Joe's personal lens, as we talked about, right? So based on his experiences, he will have assumptions, and he will create conclusions of those experiences and assumptions, and from those conclusions he will have his belief, and then he's standing up here thinking that this is the actual reality of world. But in reality, what is the actual reality? Because like not everyone is gonna look at the world from Joe's lens, right? So the answer to this is perspective, right? Because like from my perspective, I think that burger are better than, I don't know, pizza, right? And from maybe your perspective, you think the opposite of it, right? So none of us is completely true or false, but it's just perspective, right? So now you understand that in reality, nothing is completely true or false, excluding exceptions, basically like Earth is round. Well, people are fighting on that also, but it's just perspective, right? And now you understand the child behind the person that you are trying to sell, and this is gonna be your immense advantage over your competitors, right? Because no one is gonna go to this depth, and if you have gone to this depth, now you understand your customer, how they are formed, right? So how to use this understanding of humans to do a killer market research? So now that you understand all of it, the thing is, if you're a high ticket coach, which you should be, but anyways, you must have realized that right now authenticity sells. So if you're creating YouTube videos, which you absolutely should be, to be authentic, you will have to separate yourself from word to word scripts, right? And the problem is your audience attention span is still way less than a goldfish, right? So to put things into action, you have to record videos with no script and still have to hold the attention of hundreds of people, even thousands of them, right? And the best way to instantly fix it is by using all of the understanding of humans and finding every little thing required about them, because I have created an in-depth research about you, just like I'm going to show you now, and it's 60 to 70 pages of Google Doc, and I know exactly what things I should say to you to book calls, which is why with just like 20 subscribers I booked more than 4 calls, right? I don't know how good or bad is that, right? And all of the understanding of realities and humans will now be your unimaginable edge against everyone in this space, right? Because everyone wants quick tactics, right? And you actually spend time going through the foundations, right? That no one talks about. But since you now understand the foundations, we can go on to tactics, right? So now, how do you actually do market research in a way that you understand your audience better than they understand themselves, right? Let me be very clear with you, right? I'm gonna be really blunt. If your service slash product does not help people change their life and you use this info, it will bite you in a way you probably cannot even fathom of, because like you basically will manipulate them to get money. And this is the worst thing that you can do with this information, right? You actually have to make sure that your service is actually up to the bar, right? So how do you do it, So step 1 is get a transcript of this video and put it into ChatGPT. Well, recently I think that Grok is better than GPT, but whichever one you prefer, right? Then download Carl Jung's Red Book from this website called Ocean PDF and upload it into same chat of GPT. Red Book is basically the kind of personal journal of Carl, right? And believe me, like it's gonna be really insane, right? Step 3 is upload your offer deck in the same chat. If you don't have this, really, what are you doing? Like, book a call with me, because like let your money work for you, right? Just based off of my offer deck and market research, I have helped my clients sign their first ever clients, right? So yeah, and then tell everything about your audience and service in extreme detail to ChatGPT and ask it to create an extremely detailed market research including all of these things. Really important. Take a screenshot of this, a lot of them, right? If you don't want to do this all by yourself, you can book a quick call with me, obviously from the first link in the description, right? So this is how you do insane market research, because like now you understand that how people actually take action, right? The thing is, like, people still can like get this market research, but they don't know how to use it. And now you know how to use it, right? Because you have spent time here, right? So next thing that we gotta understand is how to create a killer offer. Well, Charlie Morgan says that markets do not saturate, offers do, right? The thing is, a lot of people do the same thing as me, but how I package it into my service matters a lot more than my actual service itself, right? Example, my offer, we help high ticket coaches, basically coaches consultant or whatever name you call yourself, make in between 5k to 30k, and we help them add 20k to 50k new monthly recurring revenue in just 120 days, right? And it's guaranteed that you will get the result or you get your money back. Well, it takes a lot of work. Anyways, you can book a call from first link. Anyways, here's how to create banger offer. After you have done this insane market research, you basically understand everything. You understand their traumas, experiences, insecurities, latent conditions, and a lot of more things, right? Wait, so reread the market research you have done for your niche and understand their, all these different things as I asked you to do. Now visualize and see how you can package your skill in a way that solves the problem. Even if you don't have the skill, don't worry about it. You're gonna acquire them, because there are two ways people really create offers. First way is they have a service. For example, like let's just say I'm a copywriter, so I will go to people and say like, hey, do you need emails, or hey, do you need sales pages? But in reality, let's just say I'm a copywriter, but they need ads, right? So I don't know how to write ads, which is why I will learn how to write ads, and once I do, I will get clients very easily, right? So the thing is the more time you spend on your skill, the easier it will be for you to get clients. And if you do not spend time on your skills, the difficult it will be to acquire clients. And once you package it in a way that solves your problem and make it in a way that they can visualize it, it will basically be a killer offer, right? The thing is you will never get this right on your first try. You have to refine it over time, and yeah, once you hit a killer offer, it's gonna be your $100 million offer, right? So now you know how to do market research and how to do offer deck, and I'm assuming that you now have both of these things. Now, how to get eyeballs from it? So in my opinion, this is probably the best platform to get eyeballs, Instagram. So how to create content on Instagram? Well, my thing is really stupidly simple. Model the structure of your competitors who are getting results, and more comments is generally is equals to better content, almost. So in the thing that I'm doing, I would probably look up to Charlie Morgan or some guys who are a bit smaller but still getting results, right? Just like these videos. So I would probably model something from this to create content that people freak with, right? And now comes the fun part, how to actually convert these followers to clients. But before that, look, it's not really rocket science to create content on Instagram. Just look at people and model their thing, right? So how to convert it? So we have story sequences is the one way to really get the results, and these are really simple. Basically it is just basically kind of a sequence where you introduce them to a problem through a story, and you just tell them to send you kind of a keyword, and once they do, you either book a call with them directly or you send them to a YouTube video, right? So a really big thing with this is not putting big text block of text in between, just just small text, because people don't really want to read that much. Now once they DM you the keyword, what will happen is you can use some AI like ManyChats to put an automated reply. So here's the key part: if you're directing them towards a YouTube video, you have to make them feel special, right? And well, look bro, it all depends on how warm your audience is. If you are posting daily content, you can directly book a call with them. If not, I would say just send them to your YouTube, right? So to do this, you either can give a link to the video via Drive, something like this, and this works really well, right? It works like a charm. Charlie Morgan uses this, right? So even though he says that he hates pitches, he pitch here, right? So they can book call from here. And then what he did was he uploaded his YouTube video on the Google Drive, and now people will go to a Google Drive link, so they will think that this video is not on YouTube, and they just got access to something that is not available to many people, which is why they will feel special. And if they feel special, guess what? You get their trust, and if you get their trust, you book call with them, right? Second way to convert followers into clients is inbound DMs. Just look at it like this: cold outreaching but to warm leads, right? the key points of like doing this, because like I really cannot give you a method even though I have it for myself. If you want it, book a quick call with me. I've signed multiple clients from it, right? Key points: first thing is pattern interrupt. Second thing is be honest that this is a page. Third thing, value exchange, because any outreach, the key to any outreach is perfect mixture of value and volume, right? Not any one but both, right? Or to make it simple, when value or volume are in equilibrium, if you're kind of a nerd, right? But anyways, that was the second way to do it. And the third way, really, this works really well, like it's almost kind of a cheat code and no one is using it. So you probably put an Instagram story something like this: I'm frustrated with these gurus gatekeeping information. So for the next 24 hours, you can book a quick 45-minute call with me personally if you want to scale your coaching business. Then you give the link and only 10 spots. And let's just say that it's like at $500, and like you get like what, 10 guys, it's $5,000 in one single day, right? Yes, it takes time, but it's like really kind of a cheat code and no one is talking about it. This is how you get eyeballs. Now is the main thing, because I personally don't use Instagram. I have booked calls with just YouTube, right? So first we have to understand the game, the environment of YouTube, right? Understanding the channel data. So whatever you watch on the same YouTube channel that you post from, it affects the YouTube data. I mean, it sounds complicated, but this is my channel, Manav Unfiltered, and from this channel I only watch videos of guys like Alex Hormozi, Iman, or Charlie, right? Because let's just say if I watch stand-up comedy videos from this channel, like it can mess up with who YouTube thinks your target audience is, right? And if that happens, not only you will have a bad CTR, but also a really bad watch time, and your video will die, right? So in my opinion, do not watch any entertainment video or like a video from different niche, because that could change YouTube data. On the other side, if possible, watch more of the videos of people who create videos on the same topic as you, which is why like I watch Sam Ovens, I watch Charlie Morgan, right? So it was really important for you to understand that. Second thing is how to come up with a killer idea for a video. Really important. We're gonna be learning exactly how to create a killer idea that your audience is trying to watch. Quick note, remember the foundation of the system is understanding humans in your niche. Again, it's really important. And I will paste a video in the I section so you can give me an extra view, but like it will help you. Anyhow, how do you actually come up with a killer idea? In my opinion, do not come up with a killer idea, because like in the beginning, your only goal should be to have proven way to get views and book calls, right? Example, this was Charlie Morgan's one of the most popular video, right? 73k views. So instead of copying anything, I just modeled this thing for myself, and this was my second video and it got 52 views and it was a bottom of funnel video. How crazy is that, right? And in the value section of the video, both of the videos are completely different, like the way they should be, like, look bro, I'm not asking you to copy everything, I'm just saying that model the idea, right? You still have to make sure that you come out to be different. We are just taking a model idea, not copying the video, right? We're gonna talk more about it below and like after this section, but whatever. Caveat: find topics that actually interest you. Do not make any video for just the sake of you. It never works, right? The thing is, like, there will be some videos in which like that has gotten views but it's not your interest. Do not create videos on that. The only reason I'm creating this video is because I want to, I like it, right? Method number 2 to come up with a killer idea, and this is like a kind of cheat code. So this app is called, or like this website is called vidIQ, right? And what happens is like you will have outlier videos in this section, and basically the videos that work a lot better than all the other videos, right? So model videos from this outlier section. So this video came up on my outlier section, which was like the only client acquisition needed for insurance agent. Modeled it for myself, the only client acquisition system high ticket coaches actually need. It shows 134 views, but it now has more than 300 views on the video, right? And this video alone have booked me like 2 to 3 calls, right? So really crazy thing. And this video became my most viewed video, right? And I would say like do not use this app for anything else. I used it, at least it did not work for me, right? Method number 3, how to actually come up with a killer idea, because only use this if you already have an established YouTube channel. If not, then skip this part. Sometimes, you're not gonna find videos that you can model or whatever, which is why like you have to sometimes come up with your own thing, right? Not something that you should do naturally, but if you do not find any videos that interest you, then come to this method, right? Sometimes you will not find videos that interest you and you wouldn't want to make videos on them, like completely fair. If you come up with a new idea, the chances of your video going viral increases a lot, but also the chances of it having 10 views or 11 views also increases a lot, but anyways, at some point you have to come up with your own ideas. Here's how to do it. Mix what get you traction and what it interests you, right? So we're going to talk more about it in detail, but example like high ticket coaches, this is the thing that gets me traction, and the psychology secrets, this is what kind of interests me, right? So means personally for me, maybe like I like human psychology, and high ticket coaches is a keyword for my channel that gets me traction. At that time the channel was new, which is why like it got less views, but like it still is great, right? Third thing, thumbnail and packaging, it matters a lot. This matters a lot more than people think. It's not just to help you get clicks, but one of the biggest factors on if YouTube is gonna push your video or not, right? And like there's not much explained to it. Just use keywords in your title, just like I do, right? So if you got proof/testimonials, use them in titles, right? But in the end, it's very different for each person, which is why like there's not much I should comment on this, which is why like it's kind of like really, like it differs from person to person. Fourth thing is YouTube description and tags. Now this is another insanely important element. Look, after the title and thumbnail, the thing that comes into play is YouTube description. In description, you have to use tags at least in the beginning to let YouTube know your target audience. If you do not, YouTube will just randomly push your video towards different people, and what's gonna happen? You're gonna have bad CTR, bad watch time, and your video is gonna die, right? I struggled with it for a long time, but anyways, tags, I would say like use it in the beginning, but I would say like once your channel is established, it does not really make much of a difference if you're not creating video on some different topic, right? Next thing is impressions. Look, if you did your title, thumbnail, and description well, do not worry about this, right? You will automatically get impressions from the right people, right? Next thing is CTR. Again, if you have done this right, you will have good CTR. Average view duration, this is really important. Look, if you can nail this, if you can nail your hook, you might just have a chance to have an average view duration of 15 to 25%. If it's below this, YouTube usually does not push your video. Like my really simple formula to create really good hooks, because like right now on my video I would have a video of what, between 15 to 17%, right? Not really great, but also like borderline good, right? So first we create authority, then we have social proof and testimonials, just like I gave you. Then we tell them why is it important for them to watch the video right now, So this is the environment of YouTube in which you play your game. Now we move on to the first principles of YouTube client acquisition, the thing that everyone wanted, hopefully, right? Now, well, if you're watching the video till now, I would say like, give me a quick comment, Let's see like how many people make it through here, because believe me, like no one will, right? First principles of YouTube client acquisition to book more calls. Now, I'm assuming that all of you will probably have different niches, which is why like I'm gonna be talking in first principles, right? And again, just to remind you, I've booked more than like 4 calls by now with just like 20 subs, right? So let me just begin with the main thing: how to create YouTube videos that evokes the desired action from your audience, right? First principle, #1, pain, right? So try and imagine something like this, right? So this is the current situation of the person that you're trying to sell, and this is their desired situation, right? Bad health, bad relationship, bad money; good health, good relationship, good money. So between the current situation and the desired situation is the gap, and this gap is the pain that they are feeling, right? And look, this is something that a lot of people freak up. You cannot really create pain, right? You can only amplify the existing pain. So now your goal is just to find their pain and amplify it through your videos. Once you do, you will book calls with them. Because just to tell you what I did, I told you that to get clients, you have to understand human psychology, and you know who to come if you want to understand human psychology to get clients, me, right? And as a result of that, you will evoke action from your viewers, right? So how do you find the pain? Well, this is a person in your niche that you're trying to sell, and as we went through this whole big thing, you understand that they are made of traumas, desires, beliefs, latent triggers, and infinite more things, right? And these are the basic human needs, which is like physiological needs, safety and security, love and belonging, self-esteem, and a lot more things, right? So when, let's just say that this person, like they have their personal traumas, personal desires, personal belief, when these are mixed with like basic human needs, this creates pain slash problem, right? And this is how you find your audience pain slash problem, right? Now, how do you amplify this pain slash problem that you just found out about them? The best way to do it is let them think. If you let your audience think, they will take action, because they will get to the conclusion that they want to book call with you, right? So here's how to do it, right? So this is the person, this is the video, and let's just say the goal of the video is to convey the message that using human psychology is the best way to sign clients. So let's say I posted this video in which the goal is to convey the message that human psychology is the best way to sign high ticket clients. Why? Because, for example, let's just say that my service combine human psychology with high ticket clients, right? Here's how I will convey my message, and I will have them feel this pain, right? So there is a reason why six-figure coaches steal your clients, because they understand your clients better than you understand them. And even if you do understand them, you're not able to make that personal relationship with them. And just because these six-figure coaches understand human psychology, they are able to create personal relationship with your clients, and which is why they can steal your clients, right? So I use jealousy as an emotion to create the fear of losing all of their remaining clients, and this is how pain is used. Use it ethically, right, to book calls and to change their life. Second first principle is confidence. The next roadblock of why people usually don't take action or book calls from your videos is because they lack the confidence in your ability to deliver on your services. So without any freaking long explanation, let me just give you some tactics. First way to induce confidence is through conviction. This is really important. Whatever claim you're making, say it with conviction. If you do not, it will be impossible for you to induce confidence, right? Because like, if I have results but I speak like I don't, people do not care about results, right? Second thing, which should be the first one, which is your offer. Most important thing, most important way to induce confidence into your audience. Offer extremely desirable outcome and guarantees if possible, right? I already told you how to create offers, so I'm not gonna go in long. Third way is testimonials and social proof. Use them as much as possible. Self-explanatory, right? Third first principle, to book calls from YouTube is trust, right? Let me go to the basics, right? How do you trust a person? Well, when they share a secret or when you meet their family, especially parents, right? Basically, you trust a person the most when they share or do something for you that they don't do for everyone, correct? So how do you implement this in your business? Instagram is the one way to go about it. So for example, the first step is to post an IG story, something like this. Hey, if you want to learn the best cold email template, DM me Pop to get access to this video that is private on YouTube, right? Now we told them that if they DM us some keyword, we're gonna send them something special for them, right? Now psychologically, once they get this thing, they will be like, I just got access to something that no one else have. So we built a personal connection with them, right? Now this is the key part, the way you send your video, just like the Charlie Morgan thing, as I told you before, right? So this is how you do the hardest part in the easiest way possible. Now you know exactly how to induce action from your viewers, especially to book calls. Fourth thing, the most important rule. The bitter truth is YouTube has now gotten more and more difficult than it used to be. And the more you wait, the harder it gets. And that is why it becomes really important for you to set yourself apart from the crowd as soon as possible. Let me give you some bird level perspective of what is happening. Everyone is just saying the same thing, right? This is the best outreach method, or Instagram story sequence, or this is the best way to get clients, right? Everyone knows these things. If you're just saying the same stuff to people, you are just another person making videos on topics and trying to create and trying to get their money, right? Understand that if you keep saying the same shit, you are just another noise in the market for your audience, right? You have to be the black sheep in your niche to differentiate yourself from the crowd. So the big question is, how do you do it? To differentiate yourself from the people, in my opinion, the best way is by defining your YouTube pillars. What are those? Well, let me explain this through an example. So this is probably Charlie Morgan's YouTube pillars: client acquisition, human psychology, productivity and focus, and mindset. These are the pillars that makes him unique, and in a way that Charlie Morgan is just himself, right? If anyone tries to copy him, they will fail miserably, right? And this is the same thing that you have to do. Now, once you understand your YouTube pillars, and I will tell you exactly how to do it, you come out to be unique every single time, right? For example, my videos, even if I keep freaking with my YouTube pillars, but my content every time just comes out to be different than everyone else in the market. It could be better or worse in terms of value, but it's just different than, like what people actually put online, right? Note, these are not fixed. You can change them in the future. For now, just understand that which topic interests you naturally and where you can easily eat your competition. Once you understand these things, you can create YouTube pillars around those topics, right? And just imagine that once you do it, you will be so far different from these guys who just keep saying that AI is the future or the best business model, right? Next thing, creating the chain. You have to know the purpose of the video, right? Even if it's to book call, you have to understand the idea of the video insanely well, right? Then and only then you can begin with creating this chain of belief, which is really, really, really important. Do not skip this, because related to the idea that you're creating video on, people will have some limiting belief or false belief, and you either have to debunk those beliefs or replace those beliefs, right? So example, this is the video, right? Now wait, let me just zoom in, right? So I will probably follow this chain of belief. I will offer you something, a really desirable outcome. Then I will try and put it in your mind that I am different than everyone else. He's just authentic and sensible. Then I will try and tell you you can't ever do it all by yourself, right? Then I will show you that this system is what you need. I will create a system, right? And then basically I will try and convince you that you have a crush on me, right? Not in a gay way, but whatever, then you will book a call with me, right? So understand that chain of belief is really important step in creating killer videos. So here's how to do it. Step 1, define the audience. Understand the people in your niche as well as you can, as I told you before. Step 2, create a desired outcome from the video. State the end goal, results from it. Step 3, understand the false belief or limiting belief that your audience might have related to those desired outcomes, and either replace those beliefs or debunk them, right? And yeah, that was it for the video. Really, really, really long thing, but I hope it really made sense, right?